Hi everyone, I'm Adeline Patrick. Welcome to my YouTube video. Don't forget to share, like, subscribe. Well, I was supposed to subscribe, but you get what I mean. And also comment below. I am an undergraduate student from Africa University, and I'm going to talk about the blue economy and development in Tanzania. And I'm going to focus, and I'm also going to talk about how how Tanzania has benefited from the Indian Ocean. So the different definitions of the blue economy, not really different definitions, but different people have defined blue economy. I'm just gonna go through them real quick. So first thing is, according to the World Bank, the blue economy is the sustainable use of ocean resources for economic growth, improved livelihoods and jobs, while preserving the health of ocean ecosystem. As you all know, United Nations always have a say in everything, everything in the world. So one of the representatives recently defined the blue economy as an economy that comprises a range of economic sectors and related policy that together determine whether the use of ocean resources is sustainable. So now since I'm gonna talk about Tanzania, so this is where I'm gonna go on. So when it comes to Tanzania, we know, it is well known that Tanzania has vast water-related resources. A few of them include Lake Tanganyika, Lake Victoria, Lake Rukwa, Lake Nyasa, which cover about 37% of the national area. Hundreds of islands in the Zanzibar archipelago and a coastline of 1,424 kilometers. The Indian Ocean borders the eastern coast of Tanzania. With all these water-related resources, the blue economy became one of the top priorities for both mainland and Zanzibar. So we see that both President Samia Suluhu of Tanzanian mainland and President Hussein Mwinyi of Zanzibar, have advocated for the blue economy and have made strategies to ensure that Tanzania develops in this sector. We see that President Hussein Mwinyi even went as far as to create a Ministry of the Blue Economy in Zanzibar. This will allow Tanzania to develop a sustainable utilization of its marine, lake, and littoral resources. If all goes well, in a few years, Tanzania can become a leader in the blue economy strategy. Okay, so the development of the blue frontier provides a great potential for accelerating structural transformation and creating inclusive and sustainable growth in the East African region. However, there's also contemporary economy in the region, which includes social threats such as piracy, sustained trafficking of illicit narcotics, weapons, and people within and through the Indian Ocean, and also natural threats from tsunamis and hurricanes, but also sea level rise, ocean acidification, and pollution. So we see, despite all the advantages that the blue economy has in our countries, there are also various challenges that actually, if not taken into consideration or if not properly handled, will hinder the growth of blue economy in our community. So we see that Tanzania is set to tap the enormous potential of in the enormous potential of the ocean-based blue economy. All water bodies in Tanzania, including lakes, rivers, and underground water, in addition to seas and the coast, are unique resources, yet they were neglected and often forgotten in the past. The largest sector of the current Tanzania aquatic and ocean-based economy are fisheries, aquaculture, tourism, transport, ports, coastal mining, and energy. Additionally, the blue economy approach emphasizes on working together with other sectors of the economy to support important social considerations. By social considerations, I mean gender mainstreaming. Basically, we all know gender mainstreaming is equality between both men and women, food and water security, poverty alleviation, which is one of the main problems in Tanzania. Wealth retention, this mostly, it's basically by like properly using money, but in this case, I think it's best done through investments and jobs creation, because unemployment of the youth has been one of the problems that has been one of the problems Tanzanians have been facing. So with that all being said, I know it's been a lot. The following, I'm going to talk about the determinants of blue economy. Of blue economy growth in Tanzania. So like what are the determinants that will, how do I say it? By determinants, I mean like what are the factors that will contribute to the growth of blue economy in Tanzania. The first one is maritime transport infrastructure. Here we see that like it's well known all over the world, everywhere, like quality infrastructure is a key pillar for development. Like for us to reach a level of international competitiveness, we have to improve our infrastructures. Infrastructure networks reduce the effect of distance. They also help to integrate national markets and also provide the necessary connections to international markets. Also, quality infrastructure is trade enhancing, especially for exports, and has positive impacts on economic growth. With that said, most of those countries with good infrastructures also rank high in world competitiveness, you see. The second determinant is financial support from the government. This is like, I think in every sector of the economy, the government has to support. Like without the government, I don't think any sector is like it's possible to like succeed in any sector. Like what's the point? So we see that government financial support is very important it's very important to us to improve the blue economy. As we see, it influences the rate of blue economic growth through like financing operations associated with preserving natural bodies, formulating aid and implementing policy regarding blue economic growth. The third determinant or factor is that the port management, like by port management, we talk of what basically what you're saying, that port managers, we both know that port managers are responsible for planning, administering, and even reviewing all the operations regarding the blue economy. With proper port management, blue economy can be managed, because we see that the ports are a very important factor when it comes to blue economy. In terms of trade, because movement of goods from countries, importation, exportation, all those things, like ports are very important. The fourth factor or determinant is the employee capacity. We see that the policy governing blue economy influences blue economic growth. So the employee capacity and blue economy policy aid the improvement of human well-being and social equity while significantly reducing environmental risks and ecological scarcities. The fifth determinant is availability of information and communication technologies. We see technological progress allows for the blue economy growth. Which will bring about prosperity in the sector. Okay, so if you remember at the beginning of our discussion, I say that I was also going to talk about how Tanzania has benefited from the Indian Ocean. So this is the part. Well, first and foremost, tourism, like the most obvious. We see that Zanzibar, a very beautiful island, has the most unique natural resources, marine resources that, with the most unique also marine activities that actually are so exciting and call for foreigners to come and see. So with that said, like with all these water activities and all these resources and everything, the tourism has been a main should I say activity, like has been the main one of the main things happening in the country. So this has helped boost the tourism industry in the country, and also has provided for the government revenue, which which is helpful for the development of the country. And also we see, the other benefit is that there have been an increase of government revenue through tax payments. We see like all these other things such as harbour ports, tourism, the fishing industry, they all have to pay taxes. So this has helped increase the government revenue, which is actually very important in any country. And also we see that over 4.72 billion revenues, like the yeah, how do I say it? Like there have been over 4.72 billion revenues from fishing activities only, and this like contributes to almost 2% to the country's gross domestic product. We also see that fishing industry has grown to a great extent. Like, of course, with all these fisheries and with all these fisheries, there have been a huge improvement in the fishing industry. And also, oh, I forgot to say one thing, sorry, on the tourism. Like, recently, President Samia Suluhu called for the royal tour, where she toured the whole of Zanzibar and all these unique places in Tanzania. So we see this also has played a role in improving tourism, because people get to see like what unique features Tanzania has, so they come and visit the country. So moving on, I'm also going to talk about harbour and ports. So when you talk of like ports and harbour infrastructure, we see that both sea and inland waterways ports in Tanzania are managed and operated by Tanzania Ports Authority. Dar es Salaam is the main port. We see this port handles over like 92% of the total maritime ports throughout. The port serves also as is very helpful to landlocked countries such as Malawi, Uganda, Burundi, DRC, and Zambia. Creation of employment opportunities. It has provided opportunities as a result of commercially viable gas deposits discovered at the coast of Tanzania, Kenya, and Uganda. Like, this has created a huge opportunity, like people are being employed due to this. And also in the fishing sector, like one can do fishing, like we see like it has provided employment opportunities. People like are not jobless, like not jobless, but like the rate of unemployment has reduced. So food security, fisheries are an important source of protein for coastal communities and improving the livelihoods of people. So like with that, like let me just say that the rate of hunger has reduced. Like there, compared to other countries like Zimbabwe, there's really not much hunger in Tanzania. And also there have been like mining activities such as coal, petroleum. Like Indian Ocean has been a base for mining, you see. So this has helped. You see, like when you get coal, we exportation of coal, petroleum, which is used, like you get what I'm trying to say. And also there is transportation. When you talk of transport, you basically talk of importation and exportation of goods and services. Even people, like, which has been important. Like this has also been a means of transport for people, for goods all over the country, like nationally, internationally. And also lastly, I'm going to talk about shipping. Well, of course, there's an ocean, so you guys use ships to travel. It's that simple. So like we're seeing the, well, I cannot really say industry because we don't really have a shipping industry in Tanzania, but there have been like movement of ships, like in terms of transport. I think this might fall a little bit under transport, but you get what I'm trying to say. Before I continue, guys, please like, subscribe to my YouTube video, all those things. Please do so. So moving on, we're going to talk about the challenges hindering blue economy growth in Tanzania. The first challenge is lack of maritime education and training, which that's the first challenge basically. Lack of maritime education and training. The opportunity of onboard training is definitely in short supply for the students who complete the shoreside training. Teaching quality instructors at training institutions is insufficient, and also the training equipment at training institutions is sufficient. Moving on to the second challenge that the second challenge facing blue economy in Tanzania, facing blue economic growth in Tanzania, is insufficient management of natural resources. We see that the technical challenges hinder blue economic growth. What do I mean by technical challenges? We see that due to low levels of science and technology, so automatically we can't help face technological challenges, because as a developing country, we are not technologically stable. It is imperative to note that there is weak forest governance, deforestation, ecosystem degradation, biodiversity losses, land use and land cover changes, issues related to agriculture, food and livelihood security, weak water governance, as well as less community participation. The third challenge is limited information on potentials of offshore fishing. We see that efforts towards encouraging entities to venture in offshore fishing have been hampered by limited or very few access by private enterprises to a more accurate and persuasive data or information on feasibility and potentials of offshore fishing in the exclusive economic zone, and thus making it difficult to convince these entities to invest in offshore capture fisheries. The fourth challenge is insufficient capacity for management of marine resources. The truth is, we do not have enough staff and researchers for technical research and development. Either practical technique and experience, like we still lack in experience, basically. That's what I'm trying to say, which are more production oriented and business oriented. So we still lack in the technique or experience which are more production oriented and business oriented, and it's not sufficient for management of marine resources. The fifth challenge is delay in marine aquaculture development. Well, of course, we practice aquaculture. Tanzania as a country practices aquaculture, but the rate of development in developing it has been low. Like, there's been a delay in developing it. We see that there has been some progress in the freshwater aquaculture, while marine aquaculture development has been lagging behind. This is all due to the delay in technical development of what's the word? Excuse me. Of hatchery production and grow out production that are essential for sustainable aquaculture business. And the sixth challenge is climatic change. Well, this is one of the major issues affecting the world, and if we're not careful, we will. If we're not careful, like 100 years to come, things will be bad, and there'll be no favorable climatic conditions for the future generation. So we see that there have been an increased sea surface temperature throughout, but specifically I'm gonna talk about the one that happened in 1998, which threatened the Indian Ocean, and there's been a loss of coral reefs since then, and rise of sea level, also changes in coastal agriculture productivity. Like basically that's it. Also, climatic change has led to catastrophic flooding and droughts, which all these they actually affect the marine ecosystem. Let me say it like that. Yeah, aqua. Yeah, what's the right word? Is it marine aqua, or what's the other word? The ocean ecosystem. Yeah, basically that. And the last challenge is that fisheries of East Africa are shared by the island and mainland countries. So we see that over before, like tuna species, like they would migrate easily through the Indian Ocean, but they're the most important industrial distant water fleets that they they're the most important industrial water fleets that boost the economy, and they usually migrate seasonally, and they usually pass by the eastern part of the Indian Ocean. So climate has affected their pattern. So basically now that they don't migrate they don't pass by the eastern part of the Indian Ocean anymore, and so that has been of course there has been a drop in the economy in East Africa, in a way. And also there is the coastal resources. In the same point, adding on, the coastal resources are vital for. It is important to know that the coastal resources are vital for island and coastal communities, both for nutrition and livelihoods. So the last part of my presentation, I'm going to talk about the strategies for ensuring blue economy growth on Tanzanian economy. So the first strategy is provision of maritime education and training. Of course, with improved education, we're going to get an advancement of science and technology, which is beneficial in operating in this sector. The second one is technical capacity building, where we see technical capacity building which will help us have resource management and diversification. And the last one, if I'm not mistaken, is that there should be the establishment of new marine policy. It would be this would be the proper time to review the current situation and establish the new policy to guide the future development of maritime sector in Tanzania. Therefore, in conclusion, I would say that this economy is the blue economy is a very important sector, and if as a country we are actually serious and proper strategies are made in operating in all sectors that this blue economy covers, then will actually develop, like the country will actually develop, and maybe like will bring about development. Maybe we won't be like among the poor countries in a few years to come. So basically, my take is blue economy is the way to go to ensure sustainable development. And one more thing, blue economy goes together with the green economy, because we should also protect the marine sector. like we should protect the green economy, like in terms of environment and everything. So as like they go together. So and because if the environment is not well protected, then like it will lead to climate. Like we already have a problem with climate, so we don't want to accelerate the problem. Hence there is like, so all this, they go together, leading to sustainable development. Okay, so that's it, guys. Thank you so much for listening to my video. I appreciate it. If there are any questions, additional comments, some things that I left out, you can always comment below. Don't forget to like, of course, share. No, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and also comment on the video. Bye.